Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode. Here I go again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to wander alone. I don't know if those are the lyrics, but here I go. Here I go again on my own. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. Okay, you might be like, Evan, a sultry song? Can it be? Can it be? We're getting back to the nuts and the bolts of this podcast, going back to a little bit of sing-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling in the beginning? Yeah, maybe. You know, you got to dust it off every now and then. I don't even know what episode number this is. I feel like I've just been gone so long doing episodes with guests. I forgot how to do this. How to just talk alone. I think this is episode 263. I think that's what we're on, episode 263. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here accompanying you through your life, no matter what you're doing. I don't give a shit if you're taking a shit right now, if you're taking a piss right now. I don't care if you're jacking off to my sultry ass voice. You think I talk like this for my health? Nah, it's to make your day a little bit easier. Whatever you gotta do, I'm gonna help you get through it at the end of the day. You know, baby? I'm here for you. People used to have to pay a lot of money, call some up in the middle of the night, give them a little dirty talk. Now, you just come to your boy's podcast. I'll make it happen. You want the rough stuff? You want me to be mean to you? Huh? You want me to spit on you a little bit? You want me to talk to you sweet? You want me to go Anthony Robbins on you? Give a little peppity pep talk? I'll do that too, baby. Whatever you need to do to get through, to get yours, I'm here to help, ladies and gentlemen. It is nice to be back. Okay, I've been enjoying the guests. I've been trying to balance out how to do this because the fabric of this podcast is kind of a one-on-one conversation. And like Garth Brooks, you know, I'm trying to break down the barriers between you and I. I really like that. That's real neat. That's slick stuff, cool stuff, you know? If you don't know that reference, what it is to a weird video Garth Brooks put out years ago about Facebook. I remember watching that video in San Luis Obispo. The people I was staying with showed me that video, and it was the weirdest thing. We're like, oh yeah, Garth Brooks is a fucking robot. Garth Brooks is so alienated. And what's crazy, it became this trending thing about Garth Brooks and Your Mom's House podcast with Tom Segura, Christina Pazitsky, you know, bow, 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 now, shout out. I just feel like they're a couple that you got to pay honor to whenever there's anything about the internet being, you know, having a silly goose time. You got to pay tribute to them. But they have made it take on a whole new own life of its own. These Garth Brooks videos where he's just so disconnected and he calls himself G, you know, and speak to himself about himself in third person. Always a tight move, you know, to call yourself. Like it'd be like if I was just like, hey, this is Z, you know, this is Z getting back to you guys. Like when you give yourself a nickname, it's a flex, all right? I don't trust anybody who ever gives himself a nickname. I can't trust you. I don't respect you, you know, unless you give yourself a stupid ass nickname. Like, hi, I'm dumbass because I fuck shit up. But if you're like, hey, just call me Bolt. And you're like, why? I don't know. People kind of know me to run fast. So I just thought it kind of, you know, it kind of summarizes who I am, you know, or they want you to call him something like Diesel. Don't ever get out the fuck out of my face. If you want me to call you anything that could be a vape juice flavor, all right? Fucking Diesel. I'm going to call you Sour Grape, all right? Warhead. You guys remember Warheads? The fucking... Dude, you get too sour of a Warhead, it'll make you rethink your whole childhood. It's good to be back, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to be back, just talking that bullshit again. Next week, we are going to have a guest in here, and it's going to be a phenomenal episode. I'm very excited. Listen, it's October, if you're from South America. We got to keep it spooky around here. That's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to do more theme stuff, neat stuff, slick stuff, fun stuff. All right. But yeah, it's going to be good. Things have been going well. Listen, I don't know the last time. It feels like these podcasts, when it's just me, I feel like I'm talking directly to you more, obviously. And it's connecting more with the listener. Sometimes when I'm talking to someone else, I'm legit just taking the opportunity to get to know that person. And I think they're interesting or fun. And I just like, having a good time with them. But I think the last time we were talking, I feel like I was, I don't think I was going through it, but it was more of, I'm just hustling. Your boy's in the part of the story where this is the adventure. This is the grind time. These are the good old days where you're on the come up. Okay. And I've realized through feeling like I'm getting momentum in my career and just things moving in life they're now starting to chugga along, It feels like I'm starting to gain this momentum, and it's only through a lot of time and dedication and eating shit for a long time. I still eat shit. I eat lots of shit, mountains of it. I love the stuff. Because every time I eat shit, I kind of go, the next time I eat shit, I'm going to have an acquired taste for it. It's going to get a little less shitty every time you eat shit. Speaking of that, my goldfish brain just jumped to this. I watched a video yesterday where a dude got in a fight with another guy in a men's locker room. And one of the guys, a fight broke out. One of the guys shits himself in the middle of the fight. And there's shit on the floor. Like the cameraman is like, it smells like shit in here. What the fuck? And they're fighting. And all of a sudden the other dude's like, oh man, why does it smell like shit? And then the dude gets on top of him and starts beating the shit. Like quite the contrary, starts beating the shit out of this guy. And the cameraman zooms in that there's a piece of shit on the floor. A human turd. We're not talking about a cat, a dog. It is human shit. And what's ironic is it's the dude on top. All right. I feel like the guy on the bottom was so thrown off by the instant smell of shit that it just confused his senses. Listen, confusion is a great fighting tactic. If you look at, fights, a lot of the thing is to try to get someone off their game. You want to throw feints. You want to juke them. You want to kind of play mind games. You want to mess with them. What's a better thing to do than to shit yourself? And listen, like that will definitely, it confuses the senses because for once you get almost sick. Listen, this is the greatest invention ever was a toilet with water in it. Because I don't know if you've ever been camping or you've ever even listen, you want to find out that humans are just disgusting animals, go to a public urinal or a porta potty. Go to a public porta potty and you will find out what human beings really are. You want to go to an OnlyFans account and you're like, look at this girl, she's a fantasy. Go after that girl in a porta potty where she had to take a shit. I'm just being real right now. You guys don't come to me for that CNN stuff. You come here for the real deal, baby. And that real deal is porta potties will bring you back to earth. All right. Because you're seeing it's almost like a fall medley of colors. You're seeing a lot of earth tones. You're seeing some pumpkin. You're seeing some kumquats. You're seeing some purple potatoes. You're seeing some red potatoes. You know how there's like those different packages, potatoes that have different colored potatoes. You're seeing a lot of those different colors and trends. It's a melody. And there's corn. It's corn sprinkled throughout all of it. Okay? That's what you're getting. And the big point I was making, when there's no water, shit smells like shit. Like it's different. It's just built different. All right. It's not supposed to be something. I think as human beings, we're supposed to do it in the ocean so we never have to encounter it. So if you're in the middle of a fight with someone and you smell the rawest form of shit, you're just like, dude, what the fuck? Like you just weren't expecting it. You just weren't expecting it. And it'll mess you up. It'll throw you off your game for sure. For sure it would. But the thing in this fight is two things are happening. This guy who is doing the shitting is getting the power up of, oh no, I just shit myself. I can't lose this fight too. Because you're going to have the greatest insult against you. It's low-hanging fruit. I beat the shit out of that dude. Drop the mic. This game is over. You got to move to a new school. You got to leave the district, son. You can't. You're out the county. You're out of their CIF division. All right. You're transferring to D3 after that. Whatever you were before that, knocking you down a number. You're going D4, baby. All right. Starting at the bottom again. All right. Two things are happening. That you're summoning up that strength of I just shit myself. I have nothing else to lose but to win this. And you can't be the dude. The thing that's happening is you're confusing your opponent with this shit. Okay. And I wonder actually, let me see. Sorry. Shouldn't even looked at my phone. I wonder if I can actually find a video of this. Listen, we're going to be doing a couple things today that I want to show you guys. Okay. I have a few videos. Let me see if I can find that shit video for you real quick. Okay. We were going to look at this fish cheater video, but you know what? We're gonna look at something else really quick. Let's pull up another link. Let's see what this is.
I just left Target.
I don't give a shit about Target. Target is the most basic thing ever. Oh my God. Got poops while fighting. Wow. There is a lot of poop videos. Wow. A lot of it happening in professional fights. Look at this thumbnail though. Karen tries to steal my package, then gets instant karma. The thumbnail is a guy holding a gun on someone. That's insane. The internet is just the craziest place ever. I don't know if you guys have ever been on the internet. I've never seen this video. Fighter craps all over cage during a fight. Oh man, it's crazy. This title says, "Man shits on store. Epic. Must watch." What is this, the fucking 90s when the internet first opened? Oh my God, your girl dies in UFC match? Dude, there's so many weird poop videos. My dad is a border patrol agent and I'm under arrest. I've never looked up guy poops while fighting in locker room before, and I'm not okay with the thumbnails I'm getting. This was a mistake, all right? I shouldn't have gotten down this Googling rabbit hole. So this is what I want to show you guys. Let's talk about this. The greatest thing ever has happened. We were given a gift this weekend. I woke up Saturday to this. I dove down the rabbit hole. I made a skit putting myself in the situation because I thought it was hilarious. I watched this video from every angle, okay? And let me set the tone for you. There is a fishing tournament, a national fishing tournament. It's a big deal. Before you want to talk shit on these guys and how silly it is to get upset over fishing, these people that got caught had won something like $300,000 in tournaments, a brand new boat, tons of sponsors. We're talking life-changing money. And not only that, taking that money from other people by cheating, okay? And this was a walleye fishing tournament, walleye being a kind of fish. And these guys had been suspected of cheating before. Now there's a couple things. Is the greatest video there ever was. I'm going to walk you guys through it. So basically what's happening right now, if you're watching the podcast, great. These guys went to this tournament and basically second place was pretty far behind them.
Good work. You want to go. Guys, currently new leaders. Steve Tisico, Chris French, 28-18. Good work, guys. Hold them fish up for us. Big fish on the open side of things. Well, that is yet to be determined, I think. Oh. We're all weighed in 318. Weighed in 318. The coolers are much better than the fishermen. Yesterday evening, and he's out at 723. Yeah, it's right. It's right.
Okay.
He's fishing. How you guys did it today?
Well, we fished a lot this year and had a great season.
2140, currently sitting in 5th place.
Overall, it was
Okay, so it's taking forever.
So weighing in big fish 790, locking it in. Team, second team. $33.91, your new 16 some pounds.
So
$33.91, $33.91, your new leaders, locking it in, team of the year, definitely team of the year champions. Round of applause, you got Jay Kaminsky.
These guys weighed in and they completely blew out second place at this weigh-in, where you put all your fish on there and they're like, okay, the thing to beat is, I think it was like 20 something pounds or something. And they come in at 33 pounds. There's no applause from the audience. The host is also like, give it up for them. There's nothing. They don't give a shit. Because you know what? Ironically, it smells fishy. Kill me for saying that. And then he goes, stick around.
We need pictures of those fish over here. Stick around a while.
Stick around a while. So then they go over here, they get the fish out, and they start posing with them. Their dicks must be reverse in themselves right now when they're just, this moment's happening. Okay? Because they know this is a moment that other fishermen can spot this. So they're taking pictures. They're holding them out.
That it?
The guy says, is that it? Because he's just like, there's no way that's the actual fish, you know? It is not adding up. Those fish look way too light to be able to be what they said it was. So they go, stick around.
We'll tally it up. I think that's...
People wanted to see the fish. So they're like, hey, hold on, let me see those fish. They start talking. People in the crowd are like, nah, my fish are bigger than that. And then right here, they weigh them in, and the guy decides to cut the fish open. He's cutting it open. He discovers weights.
We got weights and fish. There we go.
Holds up the weight. Listen, this guy has been waiting for this moment his entire fucking life. He cuts it open, discovers the weight, a golf ball size weight, and he goes, we got weights and fish, and then does an umpire move where he says, you're out of here, and then holds it up. And then all chaos breaks loose, okay? It went real Planet of the Apes real fast with all these guys getting so upset. Where's the other one? They don't know any other words besides you're a piece of shit. Just reacting like they can't control themselves. They are so upset. And now they're saying to get the fuck out of here, but they're just combining you piece of shit and get that your shit out of here.
Go get that motherfucker! How you like it now?
He just quoted Toby Maguire's song, or Toby Keith. How do you like me now? But it's the craziest thing. So that was a very extended video. There is another video that's only a couple minutes long. This one, here, so you can see the fish. Look at these weights. And this guy says we should call the cops. I'll be honest with you. I respect that this guy stood there and took it. He didn't try to argue. And I think it was a tactic because I feel like if he would have tried to argue this, they would have beat the shit out of this man. He wouldn't have made it out there. Okay. If he tried to argue, I got kids to feed. And they'd be like, my kid's in the hospital. You know, like they would have just, he knew just to stay quiet. You know, when like your friend's dog, you go over there and it's like, hey, like they have an insane dog. So you kind of just be cool and you're just like, okay, I'm not going to provoke it. That's what he was doing. Because these people, rabid animals.
Don't we need to file a police report? Jason, we got to file a police report.
Police reports. And guess what? These two guys got arrested. You're the champ, dude. Dude, every fish had weights in it. The hoarsest voice ever. He put a walleye fillet in there. So he sliced up another fish, probably an illegally small fish, and stuffed it in there to try to hide maybe the shape of the weight. It was just a gross move all around. You need to go to jail? He did. So many weights, dude. Dude, all these guys, it just sounds like it sounds like you just came home drunk as a kid and your dad is just reading you the rights, and it's just like it's every quote in the book of the dad's handbook to treat your kid when they fuck up. They're reciting it. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed, you know. But they were angry and they were letting them know. Crazy. And there's a couple things about it, and it's funny. It's funny from a comedic perspective. Okay, that's what I think is funny, as a social thing that is happening. This is hilarious. The way everybody, it's almost like a South Park skit when you look at it like it's a fishing competition. But the truth is, this is a really fucked up thing for multiple reasons. For one, I understand this is these people's lives. This is their career, their job, how they feed their family. And they're taking food off of these other people's plate. They're taking the fish fillets off of these other people's plate, you know? $300,000. That is life-changing money. Life-changing money. And talking about getting first place, all the sponsorships that you get and everything, those can be $1 million deers. Fuck those. They'll take away their hunting license too. Sorry, deer season is about to start. Your boy is stoked. Those are $1 million deals at the end of their lifetime. It's a lot of money involved in this. And then you got to think about the sportsman. You know, you're a cheater. Fuck yeah, you're a cheater. But then you got to think about the honor of being a part of conservation. Now, this is where I'm going to wax poetic and I'm going to get on my soapbox. Hunters and fishers care about animals just as much, if not more, than every other facet of life for multiple reasons. Factory farming is terrible. When you're hunting and fishing, you're going against factory farming and all of that. When you want to try to lead a lifestyle where you're getting your own meat and all of that, there's an idea, and you preserve wildlife. Like you pay in, you support it financially, but with buying tags, with buying fishing license, enhancements, and all of that stuff, you're supporting wildlife, and you do it in a responsible way. Every year, when it comes to hunting, there is a set thing that is seeing what's healthy for the population. The population does have to be tended to. There needs to be a little bit of shaving, because if we don't hunt anything, you can look at what happened in, was it the Hamptons or Long Island? It was this place where they didn't want any hunting to happen. And it was going to be, this huge kumbaya thing. And what ends up happening is the populations go wild. Then you have starvation. Then you have older bucks that aren't breeding, that are killing younger bucks, messing up the whole circle of life. They don't have predators there. So that it has to be conserved. And it's also when there's more and there's not a food source for them, they start having problems because of that. So it needs to be taken care of. It's part of the circle of life, and it's done in a fair way. Same thing with fishing. There's fishing limits. I think for mental health, fishing is one of the greatest things for young men, young boys. There's something very satisfying about being able to forage and hunt and pass on that tradition, and just the honor that you develop from being an outdoorsman. It's a beautiful thing. The wisdom, it's a great thing. When I was a kid, my dad's from Brooklyn. My dad didn't grow up fishing. He talks about going fishing, you go to the meat market, you say, hey, toss me this fish. That was his idea of catching fish. So I was mentored by random old men I would meet at the lake. I was this little snot-nosed kid, and I would just go up to them. I'd talk to them on fishing boards, like on the internet. At 9 years old, I'd be writing old strange man on the internet and being like, hey, teach me how to fish. I remember one time I was on this fishing board. I was putting it out. I was going to Apollo Park. There was like a breakdown in this fishing forum, and it was like, you would ask questions about bait, about techniques, and all this, and it was under the Apollo Park one. And I was like, I don't know how to do this, and blah, 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 and this keeps happening to me. And like, there's one old man who's like always there, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to be at the lake, blah, 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 this date. I'll be wearing this hat. Just come on up to me if you want any help at all. Feel free. So I saw him when I was there, and I watched him from a distance. The first time I went to the lake while he was there, and I knew who he was, I watched him because I just wanted to check him out, see if he was a weirdo. Listen, I wasn't going to get had, all right? I wasn't going to end up on some, milk carton, at least not for fishing. He checked out. I saw him talking to other fishers, other people. He seemed like an all right person. So then I approached him the next time I was there. Couldn't be nicer. Became one of my good buddies. I would always say hello to him, and we would talk about fishing. Even after that, I think the last time I talked to him, it was probably like 7 years ago. So I knew this person for like 15 years. And I watched like his life change where, you just kind of go through that with people. It's a weird thing in a bond when you're out fishing on the lake. It's almost like you can be a little more candid about life. It kind of opens you up. And you talk about some real things while you're fishing, depending who you're around. And so there's a lot of camaraderie through fishing and sportsmen, the sportsmanship of fishing. You don't poach, you don't go more than your bag limit. It's like an honor system. So when you see pieces of shit cheating, I can see how it would make you so upset, is because this is something special. We're supposed to be protecting this. It's something that's already been under attack, fishing and hunting. And this does it. It's terrible for it. But I think about it from this standpoint. Whenever, like, ironically, I love, fish, and I love animals. I love deer. When I see, I've done tons of photography of pictures of deer. It's so beautiful. And I love these animals. And I want them to have a great life. I want them to be safe. And I want them to, flourish and enjoy their life. I don't want to be, like a cow that's in factory farming. I want to try to eventually get off of that completely. So I have a lot of respect for the animals and for the fish. If I catch a fish that's too small, I'm going to be very gentle. I'm going to try to get the hook out as least intrusive as I can, release them as fast as possible, just so they could, this is part of the system. But then I think about these pieces of shit going through here and shoving weights down these fish's throat, like while the fish were still alive. It's pretty brutal and pretty fucked up just to win this tournament. And it also means that they probably caught smaller fish and filleted them up and then shoved those fillets in there too, just completely brutalizing this fish. So from that standpoint, this is pretty fucked up. But yeah, I just had to show you guys that. I thought that shit was wild. Another one that I thought was wild, and this shit pissing me off, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about it. If you don't know, your boy is a Lord of the Rings head. If you don't know what that means, I live, I breathe, I eat, I sleep Middle Earth. Okay? I love it. I love it. Okay? I remember I remember reading The Hobbit as a little wee lad. It was an old, broken up copy from the library. The faded cover, everything was all messed up. How scary. Gollum looks. This is the original cover right here. How terrifying is this? This one right here. Look at this shit. How terrifying. That's Smeagol. Okay? Nothing like the actual movie. In the movie, Smeagol looks very cool. He's cute. All right? How terrible does Bilbo look? What were we doing? I'm glad we got a completely different look for the Hobbit movies. But this was the first book I read, and I thought it was amazing. I remember watching the old, remember the Hobbit cartoon? When I was a kid, I remember watching this too. I thought it was great. I would love to watch this again just for nostalgic purposes. So good. So good. Shout out Casey. But they just dropped out the TV show, The Rings of Power. If you don't know what it is, basically, obviously, there's the trilogy, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, The Return of the King. And you have the 3 Hobbit movies that not everybody liked them. I enjoyed them. But they dropped this TV show, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, Season 1. Now, visually, I was someone who was a doubter before the episodes actually came out. And there's been something that I wasn't sure how they were going to handle the story. Were they going to stuff it with a bunch of stuff, doing a lot of pandering, a lot of virtue signaling? Was it going to start going this way? And there's some weird things with a couple TV shows that have been coming out. House of Dragon, Game of Thrones, there was a lot of, people upset that there was black people in it, which is the wildest thing ever. Why are the black people in it? I don't know, because they're actors and then you can hire whoever you want. And then with the same thing with the Ring of Power, why are the black people in it? It was Arnold Schwarzenegger who was upset about it. People were just upset for no reason. And they were just finding these things like there was no black people in Middle Earth. That's such a wild thing to like put your hat on of why this doesn't make sense to you, of why you didn't want it to watch it, is because it wasn't factually true. Hey, motherfucker, do you realize this is all made up imagination? Like, it's not the fact that there's elves and hobbits and fairies and wizards and all this other things happening. It's their skin tone. Like, that's what's bugging you. You can't get off of that. And here, I'm going to tell you right now, this is what I wondered, because I was like, okay, is there any truth to this? Because I remember hearing before it came out, they were like, yeah, there's a lot of virtue signaling and social justice stuff. I was like, okay, are they going to shoehorn in their own beliefs and try to be like, because there's a black elf, and are they right here? There he is, handsome as ever. Are they going to try to shoehorn in that he had to work twice as hard as an elf just to be an elf? Like, were they going to really virtue signal with it? They didn't at all. I don't see any of that. And I think there's a lot of people that are watching this show and they're putting too much on it. They're looking at it for things to be upset about. And I think they did great. Cinematically, the storytelling is phenomenal. The most recent episode that's came out, I want to say it was episode 6. Phenomenal. And I don't think it's a bad show at all. I think it's actually, I'll say it boldly, might be my favorite show of all time, just because I'm such a fan of Middle Earth. I think it's great. And I think people are just so upset. Like, it has a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes from the audience. I think it was, and I saw the executives of Amazon, which, shout out to Amazon. I didn't really expect this from Amazon. All right. I would have maybe liked HBO to take hold of this, but Amazon got the rights and they're doing their thing with it. It's an odd place for Amazon Prime, right? But they're doing great. They're doing great with The Boys also on Amazon. But I didn't mind it at all. I thought they did great, and I'm excited. If you haven't watched it, give it a chance. The story that they're able to tell, and they're really expanding on it. I always thought that Lord of the Rings would be an amazing TV show. I always thought Jurassic Park would be an amazing TV show. Like, how dope would it be to kind of just loosely show operations of Jurassic World, a whole season out of, the one plot in the movie where it was like the grasshoppers, the locusts, that's a whole season its own. To really expand on these ideas and to build it is amazing. And I love that they actually took Lord of the Rings and turned it into a show. I have a buddy and I very into Lord of the Rings, and we were talking, and when they first announced it, I was like, I don't know how this is going to be, but I think they're doing great. And I think that TV shows are so much better than movies. They really are, as long as they realize what they are. What I don't like is when TV shows, they run the course and now they're just stretching. There's no more story to tell. Like they've kind of painted themselves in a corner, and rather than ending the show, they just dredge it on and on and on, which ironically brings me to the next thing I wanted to talk about. The Walking Dead. They just dropped a new trailer, starting with Rick.
Everything we've endured.
Real nostalgic.
No matter what comes next, that bigger world is ours.
The Walking Dead. Great first season.
Must be complete.
For some reason, the zombies could walk or run in season 1, and then they just forgot how to do that shit.
We can make it together. Everyone, get ready!
The universe is expanding. 2023.
The only way this works is if
Negan is having his own show
we trust each other.
with Maggie. Daryl Dixon, his own show.
There's a storm coming.
Rick and Michonne.
A while since we had one of these talks.
Come on.
And Fear the Walking Dead.
You don't know who you're dealing with.
We are going to remake.
It looks cool. It looks cool. But I have to be honest with you guys. The Walking Dead is a prime example of a show that went on too long and tried to be something it wasn't. Okay, listen, the early seasons of The Walking Dead were phenomenal. I think the tilting point was when they killed Glenn. A lot of people got off board. They're like, nah, I'm done with this. And I think it had to be with they spread everything out way too thin. And then they got rid of Rick. And I know it was for the story and all of that. And they did a time jump. Whenever you do a time jump in a TV show, risky. You're telling people we're starting over. All right. And then they did this thing where they started killing off all these characters. That it was kind of becoming a make your own adventure. We have a new character. Now you need to fall in love with this person and get completely involved. But it was like those original characters, we grew with them on that show. We cared so much about how they were enduring The Walking Dead, how they were enduring this, apocalypse. But then you started killing them off and bringing in these brand new characters. And it was like, hey, what are we doing here? I don't give a shit about the other survivors across the planet that, they're trying to survive as well. No, I'm invested in these people. It's the characters. And I don't know if this show, if breaking it up into different shows is the answer. It could be. They have to do something because I think they know people have checked out. A lot of people have checked out. And I think it's a last-ditch effort where they're like, let's keep this universe going and try to get people, if people were attached. Because if you look at that, all those shows were about the top characters. It's almost like they're going, okay, these formulas are working, wipe everything else out, So I think that's what they're going to do. I'll give it a shot. I'll watch this final season of The Walking Dead, and I'll give each of those shows a shot, especially the Negan one. Negan has had one of the greatest character arcs. Granted, he did come when Glenn died, not as he was dying, and he didn't, but anyway, he arrived when in that series or that season. But the episode where Negan takes care of his wife dying from cancer, like the flashback episode, and you get to see his kind of origin story, is one of the best pieces of TV film, if you will. Phenomenal storytelling, and he's a phenomenal actor, and I loved the up and downs of who his character is. So I'm on board with that. But The Walking Dead, to me, is an example of a show that I'm like, you guys shouldn't have taken this many risks, and really, you took for granted the viewer's attention span. That's what it felt like. It felt like they were just like, nah, you guys will stay on board for this whole thing. And everybody went, nah, we're not. Nah, we're not. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this episode, okay? We got into it. We talked about some stuff. We talked about this fishing debacle, and I hope you guys have been good, okay? I don't get to talk directly to you guys when we have guests, and we'll figure out a nice balance. If you guys like the episodes with guests, let me know that. I'll keep doing those. I'll find a balance. If you guys like the solo episodes, let me know that, and we'll keep doing it. We'll find a nice balance, okay? Because I enjoy doing both, okay? I enjoy doing both. I go both ways, baby. Hey, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the new clips on Instagram. Your boy's always putting stuff out. We're trying. We're on the grind, baby. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, remember, no matter what, I still love you.